Welcome to the 14th lecture of Economics and Management. In today's lecture, we will talk about relevant information and decision making. So, what is relevant information? Whenever we are going to compare two or economic alternatives on the basis of relevant information, manager will take the future decision. So, how to decide whether the given information is relevant or not? So, there are two aspects. First is the information should be about expected future revenue or cost, and it must be different for different alternatives. Now, relevant information is the predicted future cost that differ among alternatives. So, in short, the relevant information is the information about the cost which helps managers to take future decisions about the product. Now, you will understand it in a better manner when we will see the example. So, let's see one example. So, the example A, special sales order. So what it says, a company makes and sells 1,000,000 auto replacement parts at price of rupees 40 units. So it is making and selling this much amount of auto replacement parts, and they are selling it at price rupees 40 per unit. So their total revenue will be 40 into number of auto replacement parts they are selling, that is 40 into 1,000,000. So now what they are saying, the manufacturing cost of goods made is 30 lakh rupees, right? So the manufacturing cost is this much. So manufacturing cost per unit will be 30,000,000 divided by 1,000,000. So that will be 30 rupees per unit. So they are selling single part at rupees 40, and the manufacturing cost of single part is rupees 30. Suppose a mail order house near year end offered the company rupees 26 per unit for 1 lakh unit special order. Okay, now there is one uh, mail order house who is offering them price 26 rupees per unit. Now see, they are selling it at price rupees 40 per unit. The manufacturing is cost is 30 rupees per unit, and the mail order house offering them 26 rupees per unit. Now there are four conditions. First is, this order would not affect the company's regular business in any way, would not affect total fixed cost. Means though they are asking for though the mail order house asking for 1 lakh parts for rupees 26 per unit, it won't affect the fixed cost. Means for manufacturing this much amount, the company should not need to invest into any fixed cost. They should not need to invest any extra machinery cost, that is fixed cost. Third, would not require any additional selling and administrative expenses. There are no selling and administrative expenses for these 1 lakh parts. Would use some otherwise ideal manufacturing capacity. So there is some ideal manufacturing capacity that is used by these for making this order. So should the company accept the order or not? So now this is the decision that company has to made. Now what is the relevant information in this case? Now we have seen unit price is 40 rupees per unit. Manufacturing cost is given. Units manufactured are given. Therefore, unit cost of manufacturing is 30 rupees per unit. That is manufacturing cost divided by unit manufactured. So that will be 30 rupees per unit. The special order pays a price of rupees 26 per unit. Therefore, what it shows, if we accept the order, it appears that though the company would incur loss of rupees 4 unit if it accepts the order. So when they are selling it for 40 rupees and they are making the manufacturing cost is 30 rupees, so there is a gain of rupees 10. But whenever we are accepting the order which is of rupees 26 per unit and the manufacturing cost is 30 rupees per unit, so there is a loss of 4 rupees. So this is the problem. Now the there are four conditions shown here, right? It would not affect the company's regular business. It would not affect total fixed cost. There are no additional selling and administrative expenses, and would use some otherwise ideal manufacturing capacity. Now we will talk about it. So we know what is meaning of variable expenses, what is meaning of fixed expenses. So variable expenses are the manufacturing cost is 24,000, selling and administrative cost is 2200, that is 2200. Now the if you remember the third point, there are no selling and administrative cost when we accept that order. Fixed expenses, there the fixed expenses are same, like they won't have to invest into any fixed expenses for manufacturing that product for 26 rupees per unit. The manufacturing cost is 6000, the selling and administrative cost is 5800. Now the special order affects only the variable manufacturing cost, right? If we decide to produce 1 lakh parts for rupees 26 per unit, it will affect only the manufacturing cost into the variable expenses, because selling and administrative cost is not going to affect and fixed cost is not going to affect, but affects neither the variable selling and administrative expenses nor fixed expenses, right? Hence the variable selling and administrative expenses and the fixed expenses are irrelevant for decision making on a special order, right? So on the basis of fixed cost and on the basis of variable selling and administrative cost, we can't make the decision, because anyways they are not going to change though we accept the order or we do not accept the order. But what affect is the variable manufacturing cost. Depending on variable manufacturing cost, we will decide whether to accept the order or not. If the variable manufacturing cost for creating product 1 lakh for that we are going to sell for 26 rupees per unit, if manufacturing variable manufacturing cost is high, we won't accept the order. If variable manufacturing cost is low, then we will accept the order. So let's see. So in this case, the variable manufacturing cost are the only relevant cost. That is the information on the basis of which we are going to take decision whether to accept the order or whether not to accept the order. Now, the variable manufacturing cost per 1 lakh parts is rupees 24 per unit. So here it is given, that is manufacturing cost is 24,000 for 1000 parts. So 24 rupees per unit, and the special order pays price is rupees 26 per unit, right? Hence the additional profit per unit of a special order is 26 minus 24, that is 2 rupees per unit. Hence the order should be accepted, because all other costs are remaining same whether we accept the order or we don't accept the order. Anyways we have to pay that, but variable manufacturing cost will affect that order, and the variable manufacturing cost is what, 24 rupees per unit, and we are getting 26 rupees per unit. So anyways there is a profit of rupees 2 per unit. Hence the order should be accepted. The resulting incremental profit will be rupees 2 into that much part, that is 2 into 1 lakh or 1 crore, whatever it is, equals to your total resulting incremental profit. Now let's take second example. Special sales order with agent fee. Suppose previous example is a little different. The price is 27 rupees per unit. In previous example they were giving us price 26 rupees per unit. In this case the price is 27 rupees per unit. The agent who got the order for the company has to pay a sum of rupees 80,000. Now there is one agent who is given that order. He wants 80,000 rupees to be paid. Now this is a fixed cost, right? Because it is fixed amount that we have to give to the agent. Here both the variable manufacturing cost and fixed cost of agent's fee are relevant. Now in this case, the fixed cost is agent's fee. That is relevant. If the fixed cost is increased, means if the agent is asking for more money, it means what? Our fixed cost will get increased, and depending on that we will decide whether to accept the order or not to accept. And again variable manufacturing cost is obviously the relevant information. If variable manufacturing cost is more, then also we will decide whether to accept the order or not. So these are two relevant informations on basis of which we are going to take decision whether to accept the order or not. Now in this case, the total incremental profit for the company is rupees 27, that is the price they are offering, minus rupees 24, that is variable manufacturing cost, into number of units, minus 80,000. 80,000 is fixed cost, that is agent's fee. So that will be 2,20,000. That will be your incremental profit, right? So incremental profit in this case is this much, and incremental profit in this case is this much. So depending on your incremental profit, you will decide whether to accept that special order or not to accept that special order, depending on relevant information. Now third example is dropping a department. A departmental store has 3 departments. The present operating income is under given. All figures are in thousands of rupees. Okay. So there are 3 departments. First is groceries department, second is general merchandise department, and third is drugs department. And the last column shows the total of all. So the total sales of groceries department is 1000. For general merchandise it is 800, and for drugs it is 100. Variable cost of goods sales. Variable cost of goods sales. That is whatever goods we have sold, the variable manufacturing cost is 800. For general merchandise it is 560. For drugs it is 60. So contribution margin will be total sales minus variable cost of goods sales. That is 200 for groceries. For general merchandise it is 240. For drugs it is 40. And in total it is 480. That is 200 plus 240 plus 40, that is 480. Now fixed expenses. There are two types of fixed expenses. First is avoidable and second is unavoidable. So avoidable fixed expenses are for groceries are 150. Means if we decide to drop a groceries department, then this 150 rupees won't incur into the total cost, or we won't consider these 150 rupees. Or if we decide to drop the general merchandise department, avoidable cost, that is 100 rupees, won't incurred into the total cost, that is it will go with the department. Or if we decide to drop drugs department, then avoidable expense for drugs department, that is 15 rupees, will also go with that drugs department. Then unavoidable cost, what is the meaning of it? Unavoidable cost is 60 rupees. That is, though we decide to drop groceries department, we have to pay 60 rupees in a company. That is, this is a cost that is used by any other department. If we decide to drop general merchandise department, anyway we have to invest 100 rupees, or anyway we have to pay 100 rupees. So this is an unavoidable cost. Now total fixed expenses is 150 plus 60, that is avoidable plus unavoidable, equals to 2110. For general merchandise it is 200, and for drugs it is 35, and in total it is 445. Now operating income will be 10 in bracket, that is given, that is contribution margin 200 and total fixed expenses 2110. So it will be 200 minus 2110, that is minus 10. So whenever there is a loss in economics, we are showing it into the bracket. So it is minus 10, so there is a loss, so that's why it is shown in bracket. So there is a loss of 10. For general merchandise, the contribution margin is 240 and total fixed expenses is 200. So operating income will be 240 minus 200, that is 40. In drugs department, contribution margin is 40 and total fixed expenses are 35. So there is operating income of rupees 5, and total operating income is rupees 35, right? So if you see carefully, there is a loss in groceries department, while there is a profit in general merchandise and drugs department, and there is a total profit, right, of rupees 35. All figures are in thousand, so you consider it. Now the management is thinking to drop the grocery department. Now as there is a loss in groceries department, the management is thinking to drop groceries department. So will it be a correct decision to drop the grocery department? So let's see. So before that, these are the concept. Avoidable cost will not continue if ongoing operation is changed or deleted. Means if we decide to drop groceries department, the avoidable cost will not continue, and unavoidable cost will not continue. Acha, will continue. There is a mistake. Will continue even if ongoing operation is changed or deleted, because the resources are shared by the other operations. Means if we decide to drop a groceries department, unavoidable cost is 60 rupees. Anyhow, we have to pay that. That won't affect though we drop the groceries department. And there is one mistake in second definition. Unavoidable cost will continue. So there should not be dot. Make correction. So the total is given here in the last column. So we will only talk about the total and what happen if we drop the groceries department. So the total sales is 1900. Effect of dropping groceries department. The total sale of grocery department is 1000. So if we drop it, your total sale after change will become 1900 minus 1000 equals to 900, right? Variable cost of goods sold 1420 is total cost. 800, if we drop the groceries department, it will be 1420 minus 800, that will become 620. Contribution margin is 480, and after dropping groceries department, it will be 480 minus 200, so it will be 280. Now fixed expenses, avoidable, unavoidable. Avoidable cost will get go with the groceries department, so 265 minus 150 equals to 115, and unavoidable cost is total 180. That is, even if you drop the groceries department, unavoidable cost won't change, so it will be 180. Now operating income will be total before it was before dropping the groceries department. Contribution margin was 480 minus operating income. So the operating income was 35. If you drop the groceries department, it will become 15, right? Because here the total fixed expense is 445, that is 480 minus 445, it was 35 in total. And here for if we drop the groceries department, your operating income is becoming 15, that is minus 15, right? Means if we drop the groceries department, you overall going into the loss. Your overall company is in loss of rupees 15. So after dropping the grocery department, the operating profit drops to minus 15 rupees. Hence the grocery department should not be dropped. So this is the decision we are going to make on the basis of given relevant information. Now example C is modified. What it says, suppose in example C, the company thinks to drop groceries department. So they decide to drop a groceries department, but utilizes the space so created by expanding the general merchandise. So they think to drop groceries department, and whatever space created by the groceries department, they will utilize that space to expand general merchandise department. That would increased by sale rupees 50 lakh, but incur avoidable fixed cost of rupees 70,000. So if they decide to do this, their income will increased by some amount, but avoidable cost will get increased. Again, avoidable, if they not decide to expand the general merchandise department, then this avoidable cost will not get incurred, right? So additional sales of 50 lakh, variable cost associated with the additional sales will be 560 divided by 80, 560 divided by 800. So that is, if you remember, for general merchandise, variable cost of goods is 560 and sales is 800. So that will be 560 divided by 800 into total sales, right? So that will be 3,50,000. Avoidable fixed expenses are given, that is 70,000 rupees, and increased in the operating income is 80,000 rupees. So there is increased in operating income rupees 80,000. So a gain of rupees 80,000 is better than loss of 50,000 rupees due to grocery department, because here now we are losing rupees. If we drop the grocery department, see the second column, we are losing the 50,000 rupees, right? Because there is operating income of if we effect of dropping groceries department, there is a loss of rupees 50,000. That is look at the row of operating income, second column. So, and if we expand the merchandise department, we are getting operating income of rupees 80,000. So it is better to get 80,000 than to lose 50,000 due to grocery department. Hence, the alternative is better. Means the alternative, what is alternative? To expand general merchandise department is better. Now make or buy a decision. Whether to make or whether to buy. This is the decision we have to make on the basis of given relevant information. A company has the following components of cost for parts it is manufacturing at a present in a year. There is a company who is manufacturing some parts in a year and the costs are given. Direct labor cost is 30,000 rupees. Direct manufacturing cost is 50,000 rupees. Fixed overhead is 80,000 rupees. It produces 8,000 parts in a year. Okay, so the total cost is given and it produces 8,000 parts in a year. Another manufacturer wishes to supply the part to the company at price of rupees 60,000 16 per unit. Now there is a company, the direct labor cost, direct manufacturing cost and fixed overhead is given and it is producing 8,000 parts in a year. Now there is one more company who is producing the same part and it is suggesting to this company that instead of making the part, we will provide you the parts at rupees 16 per unit. Now should the company buy the parts or continue to make it in its own plant? So total cost DM, that is direct manufacturing plus direct labor plus fixed overhead, is 1,60,000 rupees, right? Number of parts it produces 8,000 rupees. So unit cost of production is 20 rupees per unit. That is 1,60,000 divided by 8,000 equals to 20 rupees per unit. So their manufacturing cost is 20 rupees per unit and the offered price is 16 rupees per unit. Now total amount to be paid for the purchase is 16 into 800. Now though they are providing it 16 rupees per unit, the amount paid for the purchases uh, for purchase is 16 into 8,000 parts because they are going to buy 8,000 parts. So into 16, that is the amount to be paid for the purchases, 1,28,000. It appears as though the offered price is good, right? We are making it as at rupees 20 and they are offering at rupees 26. So it seems that the offered price is good. But let's not take the decision into hurry. Let's say uh, what what the information we are having more. Information is required on the following: whether the fixed overhead has got any variable part and whether the ideal facility can be put to any other alternative use. Whenever we are manufacturing 8,000 parts, is there any ideal facility that we are going to use to produce some other parts, or whether there is a variable part into a fixed cost, because that is going to change. Now the following accounting information was available. What is it? The fixed factory overhead cost is 40,000 and variable cost is 40,000. So though it is given 80,000, the 40,000 is variable cost. Fixed FOH is not relevant, right? Because it is not going to change anyway. Because it will be continue to be incurred even if the decision is to buy the parts. So total relevant cost will become direct manufacturing cost plus direct labor cost plus variable cost. So it will be 1,20,000. Now the relevant manufacturing cost per unit will be 1,20,000 divided by 8,000 parts. So it will be 15 rupees per unit. So offered price is not encouraging because they are offering it at rupees 16 and the manufacturing cost is rupees 15 per unit. So making is better than buying. So I hope you understand it. The second piece of information was available. The superior engaged for making the parts can be transferred to another shop without any difficulty. The supervisory salary was 20,000. This cost is relevant as it will vanish if the company decides to buy the parts. There is supervisory cost rupees 20,000 and if we decide to buy, then this supervisory cost will get vanished. Hence, we cannot ignore the cost of computing the relevant cost. So, the supervisory cost also we have to consider. So, the total relevant cost will become that 1,20,000 plus this 20,000, that is supervisory cost, and it will become 1,40,000 rupees. So the relevant manufacturing cost will be 1,40,000 divided by 8,000 parts equal to 17.5 rupees per unit. So the offered price is 16 rupees per unit. Hence, if we are considering the supervising cost as a relevant information, then in that case buying is better than making. Now there is third piece of information also available. It was also found that the ideal space and facilities can be used by another manufacturing facility to yield rupees 40,000 as an additional contribution to profit. So, the third piece of information says that there is some ideal space and facilities. While making that 8,000 parts, there is some remaining ideal space and facilities that we can use to produce some other parts, and that is giving an additional profit of rupees 40,000. Right, now your total cost, the revenue is relevant. So this is a relevant information on the basis of which we can make the decision whether to buy or whether to make. So it reduces the relevant cost of manufacturing, because the cost of manufacturing was 1,40,000 in this case, minus 40,000, because 40,000 is the additional contribution profit which is we are getting from the ideal space and facilities. So your total cost will become 1 lakh divided by 8,000 parts, and your total cost of manufacturing will be 12.5 rupees per unit. Now, if we use the third piece of information as a relevant information, then your manufacturing cost is 12.5 rupees per unit, and they are offering you it at price 16 rupees per unit. So in this situation, making the part is far better than buying the parts. Now let's see one more example. Bala Mills has a machine that it brought some years ago for rupees 1 lakh. The machine could be used to produce either product 1 or product 2. The machine is used to produce either product 1 or product 2. Producing product 1 involves revenue of rupees 5 lakh and the variable cost of rupees 4 lakh, yielding a contribution margin of rupees 1 lakh. Producing product 2 gives a contribution margin of rupees 60,000, and the machine 1 of course can be sold for rupees, and the machine of course can be sold at rupees 50,000. Make an analysis and suggest what the management should do. So in short, there is a one mill who has brought some machine some year ago of for some amount. It is producing product 1 and product 2. The revenue for producing product 1 is given and revenue for producing product 2 is given, and if they sell the machine they are getting 50,000 rupees. So they have to make decision whether to produce product 1, whether to produce product 2, or whether to sell that machine, right? So let's see. So the information is given here. The purchase price of the machine is sunk cost. It does not differ among the alternative and it is not relevant. So as the purchase price is the machine has brought some years ago, so it won't affect. It is not a relevant information because at this point the machine we are going to sell at different price, right? So it won't affect. Now producing product 1 revenue is given, that is 5 lakh. For product 2 it is 60,000 and sell the machine it is 50,000. Now outlay cost, what is the meaning of outlay? So the outlay cost is given, that is 4 lakh. Opportunity cost is 60,000 for produce product 1 and 10,000 for producing product 2, and for selling, if we sell the machine it is 1 lakh. So opportunity cost means what? Opportunity cost for product 1 is 60,000. It means if we produce product 1 and we have to make decision between whether to produce product 2 or whether to sell the machine, then if you produce the product 2 the revenue is 60,000, and if you sell the machine it will be at 50,000. So 60,000 is more, means producing product 2 is a good option. So that is the opportunity cost. In if we compare producing product 2 or selling the machine is a good option, right? Because selling the machine is not good option. Producing product 2 is a good option, because in that case we are getting 60,000 rupees. So opportunity cost is 60,000 rupees, and for producing product 2 it is 10,000, and for sell the machine it is 1 lakh. So net financial benefit is, for product 1 it is 40,000, for product 2 it is minus 40,000, and for if we sell the machine it is minus 50,000. So there is profit if we produce the product 1 instead of selling the machine or instead of producing the product 2. So use the machine for producing product 1. So this is how we are making the decisions depending on the relevant information that is given. So for today we will stop here. Thank you so much.